Cordoba, the creator of the Leicester equaliser. El Khanous, how much room does he have here? El Khanous going for goal, and he finds it as well. What a turnaround here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
4 minutes, Leicester have soaked up so much pressure. Fatawi jinking feet to get beyond his man, and the header from Jamie Vardy makes it 2.
Wood should score. Wood was Knockout. Yes, yes, and Knockout has done it.
Tielemans lining one up. What a goal! What a brilliant goal by Yuri Tielemans! And the Leicester City fans go absolutely potty.
Ball in behind Damian Vardy. It's 11. It's heaven for Jamie Vardy. Hold the back page. Hold the front page. A Leicester player has smashed the record.
There we go. There we go. The GOAT in all his glory there, Doc. Hello to you again, mate. How are you doing? Are you over it at all, or is it still not sunk in?
I mean, I spend many hours a day just looking at what the clubs put out, looking at other highlight moments, right? There are so many good memories you can think back to with Jamie Vardy. It's a beautiful story, which is, sadly, but it also feels a bit rightly coming to an end after 13 years, man.
Yeah, crazy. 13 years, 13 seasons, probably in those 13 seasons, like 9 incredible years. Obviously, one or two, not so good ones. But, as he said in his statement, ups and downs, but mostly ups, mostly highlights, mostly success. This is a farewell Vardy video. It's basically an unofficial call-in show to those who are regulars of the channel. They know we do a call-in show on a Monday, but this is a Thursday call-in show where we open it up to all of you watching to come and have your say about the news today. Your favourite goals of Jamie Vardy, your favourite moments on or off the pitch, what you think comes next. Patson Daka to take the number 9 shirt, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, feel free. The link is right there in the live chat, and it is also in the description of this video. So just click the link, come and have your say. Me and Ducky here. There will be more as well to join us. Let's get into it. The first caller, who has actually been waiting for a little bit of a while, is Tom. So we will get Tom in. Just before we do, though, let me just say hello to the chat and see what people are saying. Richard says, I've been going to City matches since 1974. JV is definitely the GOAT. Big up all to by nearsighted remembrance. Mark says, the GOAT. Another Mark says, evening, everyone. He will never be beaten. He will always be Leicester's greatest ever player. Retire the 9 shirt. We'll talk about that. See if what people think. I've never shed a tear over a player leaving until today. How did you say Daka in the 9 with a straight face? Can't be replaced. A true legend. Hello, guys. How are you feeling today after Jamie Vardy's leaving the club? Yeah, not so good. Kunal said, evening all. Let's hope for a miracle. Vardy can get more goals than Michael Owen. What does he need? Like 12? I
think it's like 7 or 8 more, which is in 5 games for Leicester. That's maybe a bit unrealistic at this point, but who knows? Maybe we turn into 15-16 Leicester again.
Yeah, 100%. Well, he only needs 2 to become he only needs 2 to get 200 to hit that.
That's a lot of goals.
Yeah, hello to you as well, Craig. Right, once again, this is the link. It is in the description. It's also in the live chat. Click that link. Come and have your say on Vardy leaving the club. We're going to get the first caller of the day, and it is going to be Tom. What's going on, man?
Hello. It's a bit of a
Hello.
bittersweet day, isn't it?
Very much.
I mean, for the week in general, you've got two Leicester legends retiring, with Lenny, also Ben Youngs from the Tigers retiring. And of
Oh,
course,
the rugby.
Yes, and Vardy.
That's straight over Doc's head, rugby. He's like,
Yeah. I never watched a single game of it.
But man, what can you say? I mean, I think the thing that really strikes me is like he's our Premier League legend, and like
yeah.
I can't put it into, I can't comprehend how special he is to not only the club but the city in general. I mean, he must have been, pretty much the sole reason people have been like going around Leicester and like the tourist attractions and stuff. So, I mean, just the announcement and the videos. I mean, absolutely, I was crying, and I don't get emotional with like players leaving or anything like that. But when Vardy,
you're right about the like tourist and stuff, because I went on holiday to Turkey 2 years ago, and I met a barman. Oh, what's going on there? Balloon?
What's happening with the balloon? Happy holidays in Turkey. Was it the hairline being made, or is that the follicle?
This is natural. This is natural. Yeah, it's and we met a barman, and I said, if we come back next year, I'll get you a Leicester City shirt. And he went, one, please, Vardy. I want Vardy. So we went back the next year and we gave him the Vardy shirt. And so this guy in Turkey's got a Vardy shirt. But everyone knows Jamie Vardy, Doc. Like, not everybody knows. Not everybody knows. I'd go as far as saying not everybody knows Kasper Schmeichel. Not everybody knows Wes Morgan. But everybody knows Jamie Vardy.
Right, I think that's the big thing for a club like Leicester, especially as someone who lives outside of the UK, where Leicester is commonly known. If anyone knew when I said I supported Leicester, well, the first player that would come to their mind, despite Schmeichel playing at the club, was often Jamie Vardy. He is and has been, especially outside of the UK, the face of the football club, and also in the UK, of course, right? But he's really been the flag bearer to widen the knowledge of the badge. And obviously, I think that's so special for a club of our size, because we aren't a big six club where we have these legendary players, 5 of them in the squad at the same time. But for him to have played with us basically for his entire pro career, and to transcend past just a club legend, but an icon of the Premier League as well, is truly special.
Yeah. Tom, is there any debate? The GOAT? Is he the GOAT?
Unquestionably, he is the GOAT. I mean, it's nice for the club to acknowledge the fact that he is the GOAT. And I know they get a lot of stick, but for them to like officially, I suppose, announce that he is, kind of like gives credence to like the fact that he is probably the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be at Leicester. And I actually watched a, I don't know if you've seen it, the Totti, when he said goodbye to Roma. Yeah. And I really hope at that Ipswich game we give a similar send-off to that type of level, because like he deserves it above anyone. You know,
I mean, I was going to say, Tom, like Doc, we spoke about earlier, but there is probably a bit of that. Why they've probably waited for relegation to be confirmed, which it now has been. They've announced this, and now the remaining games, because we've been saying, I mean, we said it yesterday, right, that there's not really anything to look forward to with these games. I mean, we'll be doing the watch-alongs and stuff like that, but like now we do, and it's going to be just celebrating Vardy.
Yeah, it all becomes Vardy now, because the games don't really matter. We don't have anything to play for. So it's all about celebrating the history and what he has done for this football club. And I hope that's why the atmosphere will be there of a celebration and enjoyment of the last few minutes and months we'll see him wearing the shirt, right? Because the club is definitely in shambles right now behind the scene. There's been complaints near and far, and they will continue long until Vardy leaves in the summer. But for the next month, really, essentially, is the time we have Premier League games. Yeah. You can still make those complaints, and they're very much valid. But when you show up to the ground with relegation already sealed, there is in my eyes no reason to still be negative for those 90 minutes and just get behind the boys, and in particular Jamie Vardy, and celebrate what he's done for the club. And then outside the pitch, you can aim your abuse or whatever you want towards Top and Ruck and all those very serious and very real complaints still. But while he's on the pitch, just enjoy what he's brought for this club.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? What do you think should be next for him, Tom? Because you've got the MLS, you've got the Championship. Who knows? The Premier League is there. You know, I say the Championship because you've got Wrexham. People are talking about Wrexham. You've got Sheffield Wednesday, where he was in their academy. They did release him, but he was in their academy. Now, I don't know if it's. I think he might have been a Sheffield Wednesday fan, or to some degree when he was younger. MLS. Somebody's mentioned here. Charlotte FC, Dean Smith. I mean, a story came out last year that Dean Smith tried to get Jamie Vardy to go out there because obviously Christian Fuchs is there, of course, as a coach, I think. So that could be one on the cards as well.
Yeah, I think he's got, 3 options. And for me, I think one of them is going to be at the MLS. And it's probably going to be Charlotte FC because of, like you said, Fuchs, Dean Smith, and Steve Walsh. He's there.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Como could be an option. Not only because it's beautiful, really, really beautiful place to live, but he's very, very good friends with Dennis Wise, who shall not be named, or Saudi. But I think he want the money.
Those are really good points. I think opening up for the conversation of maybe doing a Schmeichel move, you could say, right, to an Italian or French club where maybe he's earned so much now at Leicester that, I mean, obviously he could go and grab a payday at Saudi or in America, but maybe live in south of France with the nice vineyards. You know, Schmeichel was very happy doing that with Nice, or Como, I should say, lovely place in Italy. That could definitely also be an option because I think he'd be good enough to be a squad player there, and definitely it would be beneficial for those clubs to get their name out there.
Yeah, he does have links to Como, like you said, because of Dennis Wise. He actually went out there last summer for a little visit. So who knows? You know, who knows, that could happen as well.
No, it's true. Yeah. I have a question to throw at you guys. Would you get the Vardy shirt wherever he goes?
Doc Woods, we know what he's like with buying. Hey, I tell you right now, if Jamie Vardy rocked up at Nottingham Forest next season, Doc would buy a Forest shirt.
I would never do that. That is unbelievable. But let's say he moved to Como and I went to Como to watch a game.
Yes.
I'd definitely buy a Vardy shirt. No doubt about it. I mean, and if he went to some piss random England club, I mean, that I had no problem with, I wouldn't have a problem. I mean, if he moved to Chelsea and I was in London again with my mates who are Chelsea fans, I know what I would get on the back of my shirt. If I were to buy another Chelsea shirt, maybe that would be a bit too expensive with the cost of living at this point. But I am Dane, of course. Remember, we make quite a pretty penny over here.
The rule is, Doc, in the UK, you can't buy a shirt from a club in the same country as your club.
But luckily, I'm from Denmark, so that doesn't matter to me because I'm Danish.
And I'm a quarter Irish, so I technically support Celtic. So thank you.
Well, it's different. It's not England. It's slightly different. It's not England. You can get away with Wrexham. You get away with Wrexham.
I get it. I just my personal opinion is, as long as it's a rival, I'd never buy that shirt. Of course, like I'd never buy a Coventry shirt. I'd never buy a Forest shirt. And there are clubs I dislike as well that I'd never buy a shirt from. But I mean, Chelsea have so many players I love, right? Like Dewsbury Hall, and many of them we got to enjoy at Leicester. So I didn't have a particular problem with that. Now that I was there in person, I'd never buy it online because they are expensive. It was part of the trip, part of the journey with the boys to England, right?
Tom, what's your favourite Jamie Vardy goal ever?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I'm not going to do the obvious one. I really love the... Ooh, I know it didn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things because we lost, but the Seville quarterfinal, that goal, I absolutely loved it so much. I mean, that's the pinnacle of football, playing in the Champions League for me, and that's my favourite goal. Yeah,
what was yours, Doc? Did you say it earlier?
I said it had to be the It's 11. It's heaven, the one against Man
yes.
United, right?
Yeah.
But I did look at some few more today, and I think it's gone under the radar, the one where he howled at the Wolves fans. Like Ricardo Pereira, they're beating two men with a nice skill move in the box, acute angle, first time finish from Vardy to kick off the, I believe, 22-23 season, or was it the season before that? So yeah, I think that one has gone on the radar, but there are so many. The Liverpool one, I mean, I guess we'll have many people with different opinions, but there is no denying that he has a great goal catalogue.
Yeah, I was honestly, I was at that game and I was on the other side of the stadium and I could hear the howl. I could hear it. I could hear the howl from him. It's crazy. Look, Tom, I'm going to let you go, mate. Thank you for calling in. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you,
And
Tom.
hopefully you'll call in on the next one as well, mate. All right.
Of course. Thank you.
Lovely stuff, Tom. Thank you. Up next is, he's been in and out, but he was here second after Tom. It is Rossi. Get him in. It's absolute cinema.
Yes,
Hello,
good
mate.
evening.
What's going on?
Good evening. I just want to show this first. I made this early on the AI thing. This is exactly true.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's,
Yeah.
true.
Obviously,
That's scarily realistic, by the way. Jamie Vardy looks exactly like Jamie Vardy. AI is
isn't it?
getting very good. Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's good, isn't it? Oh well, what can we say? One thing that has to be agreed: we need a statue.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
He's even
That
got
statue
that.
though, that looks a bit wobbly though. But
Well,
I agree. We
the
need
full
a statue.
picture. Well, the full picture is actually him holding a corner flag and a Red Bull. But obviously,
Never mind.
because of
It's
the-
perfect then. Get it built.
Oh, you
There we
can't.
go.
It's not there. Yeah, you
Oh,
can't
right.
see it.
What I'll do, Locks, I'll send it to you
Don't worry.
privately. and
Post
then-
it on Twitter.
there it is.
Yeah.
I will. I will. So,
Go on, talk to us, Ross. Talk to us, Ross, mate. How you feeling with the news?
oh, well, I cried. I'll be honest. You know, real men don't cry, but you know.
It's okay. Did we lose him?
It's,
Oh, he's back.
I'm just. It's one of them things. No, this one's an even mind-boggling stat. The 18th. We normally signed him on the 18th of May, 2012, for £1 million. His final home game is on the exact same day, 13 years on.
Wow.
18th of May, 2025. His final home game against Ipswich.
That's unbelievable.
How mind-boggling
Crazy.
is that?
Exactly.
That is crazy. 13 years. Yeah, exactly 13 years to the date. That Jamie Vardy. I know we're playing Bournemouth the week after, but it's home game. Home game. But, I mean, we knew it was coming. We just didn't want to. It was just like, what's the word? You knew it was coming, but you didn't want to believe
You
it
went
until
denial a
obviously.
bit, right? You were like, I mean, it's gonna happen one day. But these past 2 years, he's always stayed that extra year. He's got another year in him, right? I think
Exactly.
And it came a bit out of nowhere. There weren't any reliable leaks or anything saying that this was the final season. We were always having doubts, right? Because we knew it would be expiring, but it really dropped out of nowhere today.
Yeah, and I was on my way to get my hair dyed. So I got a bit of chocolate, and then I saw it on the bus, and I'm like, it was from that Fabrice Romano spaghetti, and at first I thought it was a fake. Because people make fake accounts. And then when I watched the video and he was sat down, I'm like, oh my god, it's real. But what a career he's had. And
Ross, let me ask you,
obviously-
mate. Do you just think that the last few games now the season will just be just celebrating Vardy?
Jamie Vardy farewell tour. The JV9.
like the Cena retirement tour.
You know what's
Is
funny?
Jamie Vardy going to turn face?
No, he'll turn. No, I hope he doesn't turn heel and join Coventry. But no, that'll be.
He's already he's already healed to all of the other fans, isn't he? He's just not to us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And no, do you know what's funny? Two goats are retiring this year. Obviously, John Cena in wrestling, Jamie Vardy in the world of football. But I'm gonna have to do an AI picture of them two together. That'd be funny. But no, obviously it's more. Just forget relegation now. That's happened. These last 5 games, the final 5 games of Jamie Vardy's career at Leicester City. Obviously, we're not going to win every game. Let's be honest. But I want to see him at least score 1.
He
he's
could
not
definitely
scored.
get a few goals, right? It's Southampton at home, Ipswich at home, Nottingham Forest, a rival game where he could definitely get fired up, and Wolves, who battered us a bit last time. But there are definitely games here that he could get a few goals.
That's true. I mean, that's true. Also, in regards to Mr. Vardy, his last goal was against Tottenham, and Tottenham fans hate him. So, but I'd love to see. Obviously, he ain't going to score more than 8 goals and get past Michael Owen. Unfortunately, he's not going to. But I'd love to see him end his career, at least get a couple more goals. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if he plays every game this year in the next 5 games, 501 games would it be? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's what 490. 496 right now or something. He's needing 4 more games, so he needs to be involved in 4 or 5. The worst thing that could happen right now in this season, to be honest, is him getting an injury. That would be devastating. He needs those 200 goals and 500 appearances.
But obviously, you're asking your favourite goals and moments of Vardy. My favourite goal is there's a couple, right? Because I live in Sheffield. Sheffield United's goal, both of them. The one where he did that.
Yeah, to the fans, right? Oh, yeah.
Yes, because obviously, I mean, because he's a Sheffield Wednesday fan, obviously, he's going to do that, being obviously against Sheffield United. And obviously, the corner flag, even though it was COVID, destroying the corner flag was priceless. They're my top favourite, one of my 2 favourites. The goal against West Brom that kept us, in a way, kept us up, in the Great Escape season.
Yeah, that game was
love the commentary.
Pretty good.
I love the commentary. This is Jamie Vardy. It's the way the commentary goes really up in high voice. There's loads in there. There's so many to talk about. Obviously, he was our last Champions League goal scorer against Atletico Madrid. So that's one to talk about. You've got Liverpool volley. Obviously, that's always talked about. I mean, let's be honest. He's the first footballer to score 2 hat-tricks past the Pep Guardiola side.
Yeah.
Impressive. Yeah. At home and away.
So he got one the year. Come.
I was going to say the legacy's real as well. Did you see the video of Haaland as well, where Haaland said, I think he was asked in an interview about, who do you base your game off and stuff? And Haaland actually said one aspect of the game is the running in behind that he's so good with those powerful runs. And Haaland said he studied Jamie Vardy and Jamie Vardy's ability to run in behind off the last man and things like that. So, and there's also that really cool video as well of Aguero, where after they'd beat us, Man City, the cameras were in the Man City changing room, and Aguero had a Vardy shirt, and he said, "My son wanted me to get this Jamie Vardy shirt." Yeah.
I mean, here's one. Then you've not asked. Do you know what I think? You asked the favourite goals and moments. What about the best celebration? I think that'll be for the next caller. You should from now on. My favourite is my favourite 3.
United fans.
My favourite 3. I'll take out the Sheffield United ones. I said that in the previous just then.
Fair enough.
The non Sheffield United ones, I'm going to have to say the Tottenham one this season.
The badge. That rattled my Tottenham friends. I was very happy with that.
West Brom, the last time we played them at the Hawthorns with that volley. Oh, by the way, goal season, that one. Sorry.
Oh,
that's my favourite goal.
The ball in behind, right? And he from such an
volley. Volley, yes, because that won me 60 quid that game. So, because he always, if you watch the West Brom goals, he always went to the corner, and then you see the fans coming down the steps going, "Come on, then!" Like probably go at him. It's so brilliant. Celebrations. The one at West Ham when he took the bow.
Yes.
And the eagle.
Oh yeah, the eagle is iconic.
The eagle, because my son does it every time. My son does it every time he scores a goal. Every time he scores a goal, he always does the celebration.
What about the mannequin challenge? They're my favourites. Do you remember the mannequin challenge for England? Yeah, that was quality. Quality.
His first goal for England was unbelievable against Germany, like the back heel flick or whatever.
Well, he did that a couple of times. He did it against Manchester City as well. That flick.
Aka did that as well actually when he signed. Maybe he learned that from Jamie Vardy. If only he could have learned a few more things.
One more stat before I go is he's the only person to play in every single round of the FA Cup.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think I've heard that before after he won it. Yeah.
Wow. Right, which is a mind-boggling stat. I'll just put this up one more time before I go. Born in Sheffield, made for Leicester. You said about retiring the number 9 shirt. That was me. That from TalkSport. You know what Jason Bourne put up earlier on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did. I guessed. You're the only Leicester fan called Ross I know, so I guessed it was you. I guess it is,
I wouldn't be against the idea.
So my
I
answer
think
is
it would be,
yes.
Go on.
Do you know
Someone
why
speak.
we should retire it? Because I don't want Patson Daka. I don't
thing
want
is, you have
Patson
to be
Daka having number
careful
9.
with it now, right? I mean,
Sorry.
the number 9, you can't just throw it around like that after Jamie Vardy. Also, yes, I figured out how to style my hair a bit better. Maybe sleeping on it and a nice shower helped it not look as bad. You've just had your hair done as well. My hairdresser did me dirty.
Yeah,
yesterday.
no, I just dyed it because
You
I
just
have loads
dyed
of
it.
grey hairs, so I need it.
Oh,
Yeah, dyed
shit,
it.
man. I mean, I'm getting to that point as well at one point. It will be 20 years though, but it will come eventually.
Do you know what?
Nice
do you
one.
know? Do you know what your hair looks like, Ross?
Go
You look
on.
like the 2002 Rock. The Rock from
Do
2002.
you know what? I will take that. Thank you very much on
It's
that one.
never bad to be told you look like The Rock, even if it is involving a hairline. But it's never bad to be told you look like The Rock.
Let me.
I'll take Wayne. Oh
me
no,
just
you've got a
bring up-
picture, haven't you?
Let me just bring up a
Let's
photo a
see.
sec, just so people know what I'm saying. I mean, it's kind of a compliment because it's The Rock, but
The Rock is always.
I think it's more the hairline, to be fair, Ross. No offense. Here we go.
None
You
taken.
can see the hairline. There is Ross. It's Ross. It's
If you
Ross.
smell
Right, Ross,
the
I'm gonna let
LCFC
you go,
1993
mate.
is cooking. I know my
gonna let
battery's
you
on
go, mate.
5%, so thank you. And like I
Thank
said,
you, Ross,
I
man.
love to know
Content as
people's
always.
best celebrations. Come on, ask the next question for people.
Yeah, people let us know. All right, Ross, see you soon, mate. Thank you very much. Right, let's see what some of the comments are saying before we get Michael in. Thomas says we have to retire it because the pressure of that number now is too much. I don't know if you saw this tweet from Rick Fair. It was so funny. He was like, never mind the retiring the number chat. Let's just retire the club. Like, we're not getting any better. The club's done.
It can't get
Vardy's
any
done.
better. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
The Rock and Ross were separated at birth. Yeah.
All the hairline was between the one and the other.
Vardy is a
I'm
record
laughing, but I'll be
breaker.
in 5 years. Vardy is the record breaker for Leicester, right? I mean, the commentary about that 11th goal as well against Man United is unbelievable, right? Hold the back page, hold the front page. A Leicester player has smashed the record. I think that is, I mean, and that's what just makes all these achievements so much more impressive, in my opinion. Winning what he has done, the amount of goals he has done, never in a top 6 club. I mean, I think that is the craziest part because it wasn't too long ago. I saw the Premier League or someone make a comparison about top goal scorers for each Premier League club currently. And some of the clubs' top goal scorer had 40, 50 goals in the Premier League. Leicester City have a top goal scorer with more than 140 goals in the Premier League. As a club who spent a decade in the Championship and League One 20 years ago, and then in a decade spent in the Premier League, winning the league, the FA Cup, Community Shield. I mean, it's unbelievable, especially because he hasn't played in the Premier League from age 19 to 38 or whatever, not 16 or 15 as Jeremy Munger. First debut at 27 or 26 or something in the Premier League. Unbelievable.
Yeah, 27 years old, not his debut in the Prem. Right. Okay, let's get Michael in. Where is he? There he is. What's going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm very good, boys. How are you?
Good. First time speaking to you since relegation. First time speaking to you since Vardy's announcement.
Always
of course.
something sad, isn't it? It's always something sad.
Unfortunately, so. But before we talk about
is.
Vardy, just because we haven't spoken to you for a while, what have you made to relegation, mate? Just what we all expected, what you were waiting for.
It was so inevitable from a really long way out. Hey, we knew weeks and weeks and weeks ago. We've been sort of talking about it on this channel for months. A part of me for the longest period of time thought we were going to make it to that good run of fixtures that we have coming up, the Southampton, the Ipswich, the Wolves. I mean, Wolves actually on great form, so they're not the team that we thought they were going to be at the point in time. I'm ready for the Championship. I'm ready to watch us win some games again. It's bleak, right? When you only win 4 games in a season, and you only draw 4 as well. Like, you're out of most of the games you watch. It's, you don't want to stay down there. You want to have the aspirations to be higher, but a chance for us to regroup, a chance for us to see a new team come through, because this team that we've got going out there right now is a bit outdated, particularly in the defensive aspect and definitely in the midfield. They're players who have run their race, and it's time for big change at the club, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Well, the first big change is Jamie Vardy, mate.
Yeah, we gotta have a new captain.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, good. Nice segue there. Nice segue. No, I mean, I keep calling him Mr. Leicester City, because I think for the last 13 years, you know, we were speaking earlier. I mean, you know, myself, I was 13 when he joined the club. You know, there were people in our live chat earlier saying they were 3 years old when he joined the club. Kate said she was 20, which is crazy. No offense, Kate. But yeah, Michael, I mean, I don't know if you agree with that sentiment, Mr. Leicester City, because that's how it feels to me.
Yeah, no, he absolutely is. And a lot of people have come on here from this like really sad angle. And yes, it is an upsetting day, but it's actually a day we should celebrate. It's a day that we all knew was eventually going to be coming. This is a man who
sound
put
like a
Leicester
priest
City
at
on
a
the map.
funeral. You sound like a priest at a
funeral. It was a day we all knew was coming, and it was a man who put us on the map, gave us some of our best days, some of my great favorite moments in football. It sounds bad almost, but like lots of us here, I imagine all of us at some point thought we were going to be football players. Locks, your dreams have probably died out a bit before the rest of us.
I love it.
Yeah,
but
they did.
At a point in time, we were all told we weren't good enough. The moments that Jamie Vardy has given us give us something to live through. That's why we support teams. We're living through the dream of somebody else. And Jamie Vardy gave us a Premier League. He gave us an FA Cup. He gave us 11 It's Heaven, Champions League evenings. Obviously it wasn't just him, but like he's the guy who stuck through it all. People came in for him, and he was Leicester City. When the dust does settle on this, there are much bigger conversations to have. Most probably not for this conversation now. Bigger conversations than should be retiring the number 9 shirt, for example. Conversations like, should he still be at the club right now? Should we really be letting him go? And most probably a bigger conversation than that even is, who is going to fill those boots? They're massive boots to fill. Who will fill even half of those boots? I don't know.
I was going to say,
we've got an awful track record of strikers, haven't we? Like
I mean, anyone who's tried to take over from Jamie Vardy has failed. It's the least failure is probably like what Patson Daka, who's, you know, for a period of time kept him out of the team, or maybe Iheanacho, who was
Iheanacho was the one for me, but like Slimani, Musa,
I think, and that kind of says something, right? Because Iheanacho, he was Mr. FA Cup for us, and he did have that period where he won Player of the Month in the Premier League, and he was unplayable for a few months, where he just dominated the whole league, where we almost got Champions League. And Daka had his beginning spell in the Europa League in particular, where he was really good. But that's the closest, like, glimmers we have gotten to replacing Jamie Vardy. But he's always came back when he's been put out of the team for a few months, because he is, as you say, Mr. Leicester City, right? And
well, that's what happens.
Crazy that no one has been able to even fill 10% of his boots.
Well, that 6-month run where Iheanacho was like the top goal scorer in the whole of Europe.
He was
the first game. Well, the first game of the next season, Vardy was in the team. Vardy was straight back in, Iheanacho out. We reacted to a video earlier on the channel, a little emotional video, and I'm about to. Sorry to break the news to you guys. There is another one that's just come out. So get your tissues ready, everybody. This has just been posted by the football club. Let me bring this up.
Jamie Vardy, the man who's made the league climb from non-league to the Premier League, shows he's at home in this kind of company. Arsenal trying to send Jamie Vardy away, but he's there. Oh, what a goal! You have just seen something right out of the very top drawer. That is breathtaking. It's 11. It's heaven for Jamie Vardy. Hold the back page. Hold the front page.
has smashed the record. They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away, in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Damn.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I catch myself smiling while getting teary at the same time, right? It's a bit of the, oh man, those commentary bits bring back some real good memories and all those highs, while knowing that unless something crazy happens in these next 5 games, right, there won't be any more added to that catalog. It is sad, while at the same time really heartwarming to look back at all he's done for this club.
Why do you think he is going? Do you think it's on his accord, or do you think it's the club pushing him out because his wages are too high? It's an uncomfortable conversation to have, because as fans we're like, screw it, pay him 100k a week. We want him at the club. But there's a reason for this, and he seems upset about it, and the club seems upset about it. So who's really upset about it?
It's an interesting one, because obviously in the video and stuff he says, "Oh, it's time for me" and things like that. But I think it's probably a mutual decision. I think it's probably last season, I think Vardy wanted to stay. I think he did. But then on the flip side, I would also say that if he was offered a new deal for next year, I think he probably would have stayed. It probably makes it slightly easier for him. The decision slightly easier, knowing that we'll be in the Championship rather than the Premier League. He would love to get those 8 goals to overtake Michael Owen. Of course he would. But he's not going to get that unless he goes to another Premier League club, which again I can't see happening. Let me just bring in Tom as well. Hello, Tom. What's going on, man?
Evening, mate. You're right.
Hello,
All
mate.
good, mate. Talk to us. How you feeling, mate? What a strange day.
Pretty sad, isn't it? Don't think, we all knew it was going to happen one day. I truly believed that he would be here next season. A lot of people said, nuts if we give him a new contract, but I think his record last year speaks for itself. At 18 goals or 20 goals and assists in his last Championship campaign, proved that he's still good enough at that level to do a job. And when you look at the only other striker now at the football clubs is an age in Ayew and Bobby Reid, possibly, and a Patson Daka that has not put any confidence in anybody that he can go and score goals at that level. Last season he was there with the misses that happened. It's going to be an interesting summer, that how they replace him. You've got to replace the legend. You've got to replace the greatest of the greats Leicester City players ever, and someone that will, the loyalty we'll never see again. I think when I look back at players I've watched at Leicester, only one person comes to mind for loyalty back in the day, and that was Muzzy Izzet when we got relegated, and he could have left, but no, he was loyal. He got the club promoted, and then obviously Leicester got relegated the following season, and we had to sell him because financial difficulties. He didn't want to leave the club. This time round, it does feel that Vardy's decision's been made for him, and that the club have gone, we're not going to give you another contract, and it's time to go different ways.
Perfect timing, Tom, with what you just said. Perfect about why, because Michael asked the same question. And there is something from John Percy in the last hour, and he says it is understood to be Vardy's decision to leave Leicester, feeling it was the right time to finally sever his ties. He is going to explore all options, which include potentially staying in the top flight. There are other offers, both domestically and overseas. I mean, just quickly, Doc, what do you make to that, mate?
I think that would make sense. I'm not surprised that it is his decision. I feel like he's probably felt that he's done all he could for this club, and he hoped to have ended it up with us staying in the Premier League. And that might have changed if he was gonna stay again. But at the age he is, I think he probably feels that he has more time in him still. If it's 1 or 2 more years to try and win a trophy, if it's to go abroad to play in the MLS, with Messi or at Charlotte FC, or if it is go to France or Spain or wherever, or another Premier League club now that we are no longer there, to try and compete for a trophy, it wouldn't surprise me. I think abroad is the most likely options. If he went to another Premier League club, that would surprise me. But from the looks of it and the phrasing of how he announced his departure, it sounds like he still wants to achieve more. So I'm expecting him to go someplace where he at the very least believes that there is a chance they could win a cup or a league or whatever it might be wherever he goes.
I just really hope that the club did press hard to try and keep him. I'm sure they would have, because in so many ways the foundations of our team has been pulled apart, when it most probably starts with Schmeichel and then there ends with players like Albrighton who have gone, and we need players like that in the club effectively. I look at, if we are looking to maybe bring in a really young player like Evans going forward, then he most probably is going to want someone like Vardy to look up to as a striker. Yeah, I hope he goes to someone half decent then. But I mean, realistically, I don't particularly in Europe, I don't see there being many options for him to go to. I think his options would very much limit to the MLS. Most probably is your best bet. But that'd be an interesting one for him.
Tom, what do you make to the chat about because not today as such, but all season really, I think there's been discussions, but with some fans talking about obviously with Vardy's time coming to an end, whether it was this year or next or the year after, whatever. But for the future, because he's the last one of the title winners, and we've all been saying for 2-3 years now we need a rebuild. We kind of got a mini rebuild under Enzo, not fully, but this almost feels like the start of a real rebuild, because he is the longest serving player, and as people have put in the comments and Michael alluded to as well, like, he does take time away from younger strikers, and so do you think this is a big a good step in the right direction with regards to maybe a rebuild?
It's always going to be tricky to lose a player of his quality and his experience and not have that around the youngsters. I think this season, it's all right to say put the young kids in. Should have done 3 or 4 games ago, and after we knew it was all done and dusted and we were down. But most of the season we've relied on Vard, because it just shows you how weak we are in that area. Letting Kelechi and Nacho go on a free transfer, that was a massive mistake when you had no backup in those options. At least Kelechi had Premier League experience and could have taken that pressure off Vardy to have to play week in, week out. What we've ended up doing, a 38-year-old playing week in, week out in the Premier League because you have no other strikers, it's quite scary. Look, it's never nice to lose the player that we all love and we all adore. I think he'll all go down as our favourite player in all our lifetimes, because there's only other players like Cambiasse but one season, but Vards will be a generational thing. Like, we'll all remember, and we'll talk to our grandkids and great grandkids about this player that came from non-league. But it is the opportunity now to refresh his squad, what you've just said, Locks, and that's a massive thing this year. I think people got to remember, we could get stuck in the Championship for 2 to 3 years if we're not careful. And the opportunity to get Vardy's wages, and we're talking £120,000 a week, that could go and get you possibly 2 to 3 Championship players, at a half decent standard, and build the squad again. So I think it could be a case of they've looked at it and gone, even if we give Vards 80 grand a week, that's still only going to give us one more player back in the squad. We lose Vards, we could get 2 to 3 good players back into the squad this year coming in. With the PSL rules, and we know the Football League are going to be hounding us to look at our bank statements and accounts this year. To lose Vards and gain 3 players, I think, it's certainly the club are probably looking, thinking they have to sacrifice Vards this time around and finally let him go and not renew his contract. Because let's be honest, I don't think Vardy would want to leave in this state like he's done with us, relegated. He probably thinks now he should have gone 12 months ago like Albrighton on a high and left on good terms and left in a bit where the club was on a massive high. But it just shows what a man Vardy was, that he wanted to finish his career by helping Leicester stay in the Premier League. And sadly for him, that hasn't worked out this time around. And I generally believe it is a sacrifice the club are making to let him go and, to put some money back into that squad with the funds.
Well, Doc, the finances is a very good point, isn't it? Because he's our highest earner, and he has been for many years. The scary thought now, though, is it's either Harry Winks or Connor Cody. They are the highest earners at the club. That's a little bit scary thought, but
and they don't really justify it, right? I mean,
well, yeah, exactly. But this is another step in the right direction with regards to cost cutting with finances. You're saving yourself 120 grand a week. That's a lot of money. I'm not very good at maths. If somebody wants to do the maths there on the yearly on the salary, but it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, right? But I don't think
million-ish.
anyone can really put into words how much Jamie Vardy has made for this club or how much he's worth to this club, right?
Yeah.
We'll see where he goes next. If this is cash motivated or whatever, I think it's mostly just the fact that he realizes he doesn't have the energy for 2 more years in him, like one more of trying to get us up and then trying to get us up and then trying to keep us up again. And I think probably the club as well weren't as heavily pushing for him to renew his contract. I think it's a mix of both, but I hope really at the end of the day that this was his decision and it wasn't made by anyone else, that he feels this is his time. And then we'll see where he ends up. We'll see what he reportedly ends up making, if it's America with some crazy deal with a club there where he makes millions and millions, or if he's going to another club in Europe, potentially taking a pay cut to try and compete for trophies for 1 more year. Time will tell.
Yeah,
I know the club, and they don't make any decisions with foresight. So yes, So yes, getting rid of him and being like, "Sweet, we're saving 120k," but he is going to need to be replaced. And it's all well and good saying, "Oh, we'll replace him with 2 or 3," but like, give me some actual names here. They don't exist. Every club in the top flight is searching for a striker, and so many clubs in the top flight have wasted lots of money on on bad strikers. I can, thank God. Here we go. You've opened the floodgates. Højlund at Man United, big waste of money. Nunes at Liverpool, massive waste of money. Xerxes, I'm sure there's a million others that come to mind. Nicholas Jackson doesn't particularly hit the heavy heights. He wasn't that expensive. Nicholas Nkunku. And when you look at the Championship talent that we might be able to pull from, well, there's a really awful standard of strikers in the Championship right now. I think it was alluded to by a nil the other week. Borja Sainz is top goal scorer.
Yeah,
he hasn't scored a goal since January.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I have one guy in my mind who I really want to replace Vardy with.
Danish, no doubt.
From Denmark, yes, absolutely.
Here we go.
It's Mathias Kvistgaard, though. He's 22, 23, same club as Hermansen. He should be moving away. He's way too good for that league, and he's very good at running in behind. He's fast as well, and he's clinical in his finishing. I absolutely hate him currently because he's playing for the rival club of Copenhagen, Brøndby. But I mean, I still see his talent. I think the style of player he is, I would have loved to see him have a year on Vardy because they do have some similarities. And I think he's someone who's ready to take the next step. And I mean, he could go and talk with his good friend, Mads Hermansen, who he played with the team with and grew up in the academy with, and say, well, Leicester City, they are a very good stepping stone.
Doc, I'm going to let you go, mate, because you've been here the longest and there's more people waiting. So cheers, Doc, mate. Go get a haircut, yeah?
I did the fucking prick, man.
He had one yesterday. Cheers, Doc, mate. Much appreciated. Okay. Next up, we've got some people waiting, so I'm going to get Jack in. Jack, I mean, I was just speaking to you on LTID, but I mean, yeah, mate. What's your reaction to the news today, mate? It's crazy, isn't it?
Football's a crazy game, but sometimes, you don't prepare for these things. It's like preparing for a marriage, being married to a woman, innit? You got to end things at some point if things are not gone great, but it is what it is. I shouldn't say that in front of Hayley, but it's sad. It was inevitable that it was going to happen one day, but it's probably coming quicker than we actually thought he'd leave. But I think with Vardy, he goes down as the greatest ever Leicester player of all time, and like I say, he can leave held high, and like I said, the love from the fans and the love from him to Leicester City is the way out now for him, and wherever he goes next is going to be an interesting chapter to his documentary as well. What's apparently coming out in autumn.
Yeah, that's not going to be pretty, is it? Tom, let me ask you this, mate. Is there any debate that he's the GOAT? I mean, you've been around much longer than me. Have you, is he the solidified GOAT of Leicester City?
If looking at players that Leicester have had and strikers, Heskey come to mind from my early days of following Leicester. Jochin didn't hang around long enough, and I think the reason he's the GOAT is that what he's done. He could have gone. He could have left Leicester after that title season. We all know that he had the check with Wenger, and it was very much he was umming and ahhing. But to walk away from Arsenal at the time when they just moved to the new stadium, to go and play with that team, what they'd building at Arsenal, and say in the car, it's not right for me, it doesn't feel right. And that Leicester were the ones that gave to me the chance and took the punt on me for £1 million for Fleetwood. That's probably why he goes down as a GOAT, because loyalty now, there's no loyalty in football. We all know that. We've seen that with some of our title winning team. Mahrez, Kante, Drinkwater, all these players that came to Leicester and nobodies and ended up winning a Premier League title, then leaving and going to win more Premier League titles, especially Kante and Mahrez. So for Vardy to stick around as long as he has, and even the season we got relegated, he could have turned around and said then, I want to go. I want to go play another couple of years in the Premier League while I'm still fighting at the best. And I know someone, a West Ham or that kind of size club, Newcastle, might come in for me and let me go. But straight away, even though he was out of contract, the first thing he did was, no, I owe it to the fans. I owe it to get this club back to the Premier League. So he will go down as a GOAT. And you'll never see another scenario with any player probably in our lifetimes that will be as loyal as Jamie Vardy has been to Leicester, and that's why he goes down as the GOAT, mate. Simple as that.
As loyal and
Michael,
as good as well, because that's massively important. You'll find players who'll stay around, but then you don't want them to actually be there. But go on, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, Mike, I was going to ask you, mate. If we're talking about talent, you can throw names in there that are probably more talented than Jamie Vardy. I mean, Riyad Mahrez, for example. He's a better
heard it pronounced like
footballer.
that in my life.
I know.
Didn't know you're Algerian.
Riyad Mahrez, should I say? You would say he's a better footballer than Jamie Vardy, but the loyalty, the character, the personality, the silverware, that all is one big package that makes him the GOAT.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't know if there was a question in there or not.
Well, I'm comment on that. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, sorry. I mean, I think the best part of it is like Mahrez is more technically gifted than someone like Vardy, but Vardy had some incredible attributes that Mahrez would never have. His pace, for example, is one thing. Vardy is undoubtedly the GOAT of Leicester City and will be forever. We won't actually be able to watch. We probably won't watch someone of his ability and talent again in a Leicester shirt, or at least not for many, 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 many years. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, Tom, mate, before I let you go, I wanted to know your favourite memory of Vardy, whether it's a goal, whether it whatever you want to say. But
there's a couple.
Are you there? You're on mute, mate.
I saw his first goal.
Oh,
yeah.
I've got you now. Yeah.
Lost you.
We've lost you again. Yeah. I think we've lost you, Tom. I can't hear you. Got you now.
Can you hear me now? Talking away. That was, one of my moments, basically just because of being there to see him score his first goal for Leicester. That's something that lived long in the memory, to be at that Torquay game in the Cup. And then, obviously, probably the Liverpool game, that volley, that goal. Do you know what? No one thought Vardy would do that, to pull that out of the bag. But the fake one is obviously Man United at home. Man U, to do what he did, 11 games in a row, break Van Nistelrooy's record, that is going to be the greatest moment for Jamie Vardy. Winning the Premier League, the FA Cups, they'll go down as greats. But for Vars to break Van Nistelrooy's record, again, one of the greatest strikers in the Premier League, that has to be for his, record, but the greatest moment in Jamie Vardy's career.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. Tom, I'm going to let you go, mate, because I think it's just cutting in and out. So we'll see you soon, Tom. Cheers, mate. All the best. We're gonna get Mark and Manny in very soon, and Dimitri. So Michael, I'll let you go in a sec, but let me ask you the same question for you, mate. Your favorite memories of Vardy. Don't have to name one. You can name a few if you want.
No, many. I'll give you one so you can get more people in here, and it comes with a little story attached to it as well. It's of course it's going to be the goal against Man United. It's 11. It's heaven. A work colleague of mine's son was playing on the King Power pitch a couple seasons after the fact, so unfortunately it would have been returfed. But yeah, he got me a little memento. He walked to the spot, he filmed it, and he went, "Here we go. Here's a clump of grass." I laminated it, and it's sat in my bedroom ever since. So that is my little touch. Most probably the best thing I can get from that.
Lovely stuff. You know what I always regret? I was at East Midlands Airport the season the pre-season we won the league, and the whole squad were there. And it was just before we appointed Ranieri, and I saw Steve Walsh and Shakespeare originally, and I had photos with loads of the squad, loads of them, and some duds as well that never made it. Tom Lawrence, for example, never made it. Ben Chilwell I had a photo with. Mahrez, of course, Andy King. But Vardy was the only one Vardy was the only one I just didn't manage to get one with, which is a shame. But Michael, mate, I'm going to let you go. Thank you, mate.
Guys,
cheers for coming
thank you
on.
so much for
appreciated.
this. Enjoy the rest of the show. Speak to you soon.
See you soon, mate. All the best, Michael. Thank you. We're going to get Manny on now. But Jack, what's your favorite Vardy memories?
I mean, his shithousery has been probably what he stands out for, but no, his goals have been phenomenal over the years, haven't they? You know, it's hard to even pick one, but then you look at the Great Escape season where he scored against West Brom, and then you've got the one that you touched on Chris's show where the ball comes over from Mahrez over the shoulder on the volley from Vardy, and I think he scored some very, very good goals against West Brom, and I think if you mention that to West Brom fans, they'll probably hit you in the face or something. Yeah, but no, the Jamie Vardy 11 in 11 is very much up there. I don't think it'd be broken or probably generation of us lot, to be fair. The Liverpool goal, the one against Tottenham where he got it on the volley as well from the Mahrez ball. I think we ended up winning with that under Claude Puel, I think. Yeah, scored many goals. But yeah, the one against Sunderland to secure his Champions League football, I think that was very much up there as well. So yeah, some great moments by him, and it's just a shame we won't get many more next season when he's left.
Yeah, here comes the Manny. Look, I mean, it's the first time you weren't on earlier with us. What is your reaction? I mean, what have you made to the news today?
Bit of a funeral vibe today. You know, it feels like a close one, a very loved one has gone and gone for good. And it's never going to be the same. It's never going to feel the same. And it's going through a process of like grieving. You know, I know Kate was in tears earlier, and pretty similar myself when I saw that statement and when I saw him say it himself. I wonder how many takes it took him to get through it, but definitely he was choking up. And as you guys have been chatting away, I've been thinking through like some of the legends that I've seen over the years, lots of not just great players, because we've always had some decent players in every single team, even the bad ones, but guys who actually left having brought us beyond the realms of what we thought possible. So, you know, Walshy was a legend with his 2 goals against Derby, and he was part of the first team in '97. Stevie Claridge, last minute goal to keep us up, a winner in a cup final. Bruno was a legend. Muzzy Izzet was the best out of that whole team. Lennon was superb. Matty Elliott, tags, some decent keepers from Casey Keller to Tim Flowers was brilliant for us. You know, loads of brilliant players, and then obviously leading into the Vardy era, shall we talk it? But I mean, we've had players like Kante, who I think would make an all-time World 11 of the history of games. So, but he is our biggest legend. To say no to Arsenal is unthinkable. Like, I'm a Leicester fan. I was born in Leicester at the infirmary. You know, if Arsenal came knocking to me and gave me a wage increase, I'd go. I would go. I'm not going to lie. I'd go. For a massive pay increase, to live in London, to play in Champions League, all that sexy stuff. It takes an unbelievably special human being, like the kind of loyalty that our club doesn't show to people, no club or professional show to anybody else. He stands alone. You know, how many people who genuinely have said no to a mega club after they've already achieved everything that they ever really could at their smaller club? That's just crazy. Sad. Very sad.
Jack, I was saying earlier, mate, that you know, you can name footballers that are better than Jamie Vardy with regards to ability, but
Yeah.
I think it's just overall, you know, the story, you know, rags to riches, National League to Premier League to Champions League, should we say? You know, £1 million, the most value for money signing that you'll ever see, and the loyalty that he's shown. Because, as Michael said, there's a difference between loyalty and being a great player and being loyal. You know, it's like Jordan Ayew could be loyal for the next 3 years, right? Because no one's going to want to buy him. But there were clubs that would have done anything to sign Jamie Vardy back then, and he decided to stay.
Yeah, he's a special player, you know. Like you say, you don't get a sort of loyalty in football ever these days. You know, 13 years is a very long time at any football club. You know, we've seen players come and go, even after a year in the contract. Wesley Fofana, but yeah, he's a special talent. He's got everything. He's one of the best finishers in the world of football. You know. He's scored more goals than some of the best, you know, the Bergkamps, the Didier Drogbas, and players like that. You know, that shows gratitude. You know, that shows how far he's come at a club like Leicester, where people would only give that sort of credit at a team if he played for a Liverpool or a Man City. So this is the thing. Jamie Vardy's become a non-league footballer working in a factory in that, gone to the very top. You know. And the amount of goals he's scored and the moments that he's produced and everything like that, it's just amazing.
Yeah, Jack, mate. I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah,
so
cool.
thank you for jumping in, mate. Much
Yeah,
appreciated.
no worries.
We'll see you very, very soon. For his debut on the channel, he's never been on the channel before. It is Mark from the It's 11, It's Heaven, perfectly named. Mark, how are you doing today, mate? It's not your debut, is it? You have been on before, actually.
I've been on once before. I've been in exile for the best part of a year. I felt that today was the right day to come out of exile, but I'm wearing black today for the funeral vibes as well. So, very sad day. It's one that you look back at and think it's going to happen at some point, but when it happens, it just hurts like hell, doesn't it?
Yeah, mate. I mean, you've heard us speaking for the last 10, 20 minutes or so. I mean, it's the last time I remember feeling this way is probably like when obviously the tragedy in 2018 happened, right, where we lost something so big at the club, and now we are losing in a different way, of course, but we are losing Jamie Vardy, and it feels like Leicester will never be the same again because of it, in my opinion.
It's definitely the end of the era, isn't it? You know, you look at that picture today of 2016 in black because everyone's gone, and he was the last sort of part of the legacy of that. So we almost felt close to that time still because he was still here. Now he's gone. It really closes the book on that, and maybe it's time for us to move on a little bit from it, shall I say? Look towards a rebuild and look towards what can happen again next season. But you know, when you look back at 13 years of Vardy and all those goals, I mean, he was just absolutely incredible for us. And I don't think we realise how incredible at the minute. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for the dust to settle for us to realise how special he's been.
Yeah, because Manny, I mean, it's that saying, you know, you don't know how good someone is or someone is until you lose it. And we've been speaking a lot on the channel recently about, you know, should he go? And some of us have said he should go now, and others have said he should stay for another year. But I don't think it will really hit us until next season, when we see the lineup week after week after week, and there's no Vardy on the team sheet.
When you see Daka fluffing chances next season, I guarantee you're going to be thinking, maybe he did have one more year left in him. And I was kind of one of those, but now that he's made that decision and it saves us like £6-7 million a year, I think it is, in salaries, you have to, when you look back and you start naming it, comparing him to other Premier League players, there's one gigantic difference. Not just he came from Fleetwood and non-league. It's also his goals are for a small club against everybody else. Like Harry Kane, who's got many more goals, also gets 2 or 3 times the number of chances to score those goals. So he's up there with way less chances, way less opportunities, way less possession. So 2 hat-tricks against Pep. You know, he has got an unbelievable scoring record against the big six teams. I'm not sure Spurs should be in that big six, but a separate debate. But those goals against those elite teams, we're talking about the best defenders, the best centre backs, the best organised. But in theory, should be the highest number of, the highest quality of team that you face. And he's got arguably, I think the very best record in minutes to goals against those teams. So it's not just about simply, someone will say it's just pace and finishing. There's way more to it than that. You know, the attitude, the hunger, the desire. You know, have we ever seen a striker closing the fullback down and biting at his ankles like Jamie Vardy, waiting to go and absolutely cream into somebody? You know, we speak a lot about strength on the channel as an attribute you need in the Premier League, but he goes to show you don't have to be, you know, Lennox Lewis to show strength. He's a small, diminutive, kind of little bit skinny guy, but he puts it about like so many others. And that's another reason why people loved him. It's the attitude, the hunt, the desire. He's the closest thing that you could think of. You know, if we all imagine that, we all like to imagine that maybe one day when we were kids at least, that we could have been a professional footballer. And I guarantee everybody has said at some point during their watching football career, if that was me, I would have. And he's the guy who is just like you. He puts everything in all the time. There's never been a single game anyone could ever question his attitude, his desire. And when you add on the comedy, the shithousery, the loyalty, there's just no debate. He's our hero, and he always will be.
Yeah, and Mark, I'm going to bring this up. You know, Jamie Vardy, he scored more goals in the Premier League than Drogba, Anelka, Lukaku, Dwight York, Cristiano Ronaldo, Van Nistelrooy, Torres, Suarez, Bergkamp. And he obviously only made his Premier League debut at 27 years old. His first Premier League goal was obviously in that Manchester United game, the 5-3, the crazy game we all remember. But I almost feel like Vardy's underappreciated by other fans because he's this scrawny gobshite, basically. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we love him for, right? We love him because of that. But I feel like if his name was Vardinho or something ridiculous like that, he would be put up there by everybody as a Premier League great. And at the moment, it almost feels like it's only Leicester fans who really say he is a Premier League legend, a Premier League great.
He is a Premier League legend, and without a shadow of a doubt, he is. And he was someone, I hate seeing this term Barclays men going about. I've seen that. I think John Percy's called in that himself tonight. And I just sort of look at that and I think you've really got the wrong end of that, mate, because this guy is an all-time top-level footballer in the Premier League. Yes, he started at 27 in the league. I think he really hit his prime probably in the Brendan Rodgers days. I know that hat-trick away at Man City behind closed doors, that flick for the first goal that he got there second goal was absolutely incredible that day. And just made me think we had a top-class striker, but everything sort of laid in our favour for it, didn't it? Because of the age we signed him at, when he really peaked, he was a bit too old to go to the other clubs apart from Arsenal, and he turned them down. And then that was the message to everyone else that he was Leicester, and he's Leicester through and through. Let's build the statue. Let's rename the stand. This guy is our GOAT. He's the best that's ever been.
Underappreciated as well. I was going to say, I mean, just mentioned that flicking goal against Man City. He scored a similar one away to Germany for England. And, you know, when England...
That was his first England goal. I mean,
I don't know about you guys, but I used to be watching those games thinking, get this slow, you know me, I'm a fast twitch fibre pace guy. And Jamie Vardy's lightning fast, and we've got slow Harry Kane up front when we can't get the ball. And I'm thinking, Jamie Vardy on the counter-attack against this Croatian team or against this Italian team in the final, or even if he was a little bit younger against the Spain team, was such a good option internationally as well. And I always felt a bit disappointed for him that he didn't get more of a shoe-in. But increasing legend, you know, even though he was obviously desperate to play for his country like most players are, he decided to retire early so he could extend his career with us. I mean, that just makes him even more of a legend. What an absolute hero.
And that international retirement, I think, you know, what you said is right. He wanted to kind of prolong his time with Leicester, but also I think he told Southgate, I don't want to be considered for selection unless there's an injury crisis. So, you know, what he's saying there is, if you need me, if my country needs me, you know what I mean, then I will come. But, you know, if you're covered, because he knew, rightly or wrongly, he knew he would never be a the starting striker for England because of Harry Kane. But he said, I'm available if you need me, if there's a crisis, but I want to focus on Leicester City. And obviously that's what he's done until the age of 38. Mark, before I let you go, mate, give me your favourite your favourite Jamie Vardy goal, memories, moment, whatever.
Favourite goal was probably a little bit different to many others, but I just remember thinking at the time what an outrageous goal it was. And it was against Spurs at home. And the ball's flicked over to him from the left-hand side. I'm not sure if it's Albrighton that's played it over. Yeah, and he's got in front of his defender and he's just flicked it with the outside of his foot over Hugo Lloris, who was probably the best goalkeeper in the league at that time, or one of the best goalkeepers in the league, like he was playing a game of five-a-side or something. It was absolutely outstanding. I remember thinking at that time, this guy's been pigeonholed as a one-season wonder. He's not. He's been pigeonholed as a guy that's blasted the ball. He's not. I just felt like he had it all at that stage. So that, along with the "It's 11, it's heaven" goal, are my two favourite Jamie Vardy moments.
Lovely stuff, Mark, mate. Thanks for clicking in. Much appreciated. Hopefully, we'll get you on again soon, mate. All right, cheers, Mark. What was your favourite goal then, Manny? Did you give it? There's so many.
As everybody's been giving theirs, I've been thinking about my own, and the one where I think it was Mahrez pinged it long and he had a left foot volley over the shoulder. I thought it was a ridiculous goal. The one against Liverpool, I mean, it's just not a Vardy type goal. You expect him to charge onto the keeper and finish it, but to smack it from 35 yards is so alien to the rest of his goals, so that sticks out. But it's just the idea of Vardy running on with ultimate speed and defenders chugging away behind him trying to catch him, and you just think one-on-one with the keeper, he's going to score here. He's going to finish. So it could be the one against David De Gea for the record goal, but he scored. I remember one in the Mourinho's last game for Chelsea when he scored the first one. I think where he nicked inside the defender as well from a Mahrez cross. If you remember that, there's just so many where you think it's not just about his normal attributes. Like you think of his speed, but he's clever. He's so clever. He's clever in the box. He's getting in front of the defender. Just having that split second reacting before that they do. It's not just speed in the legs; it's speed in the brain. Well,
that's how he did. That's how he continued for so long, right? Because as he lost pace, he didn't lose that, and he was able to make up for the yard of pace that he lost with his IQ. And we were saying earlier as well, Brendan Rodgers helped him a lot as well with that. It was a different. I know Puel was also a different style, but he never had a good relationship with Claude Puel. But with Rodgers kind of coached him really well and turned him into more of a fox in the box, a poacher, kind of, rather than that man who would run him behind all the time.
He evolved to multiple different players. He played under Claudio when it was pure counter-attack. He played under Brendan when it's possession. He's played under Enzo when it's Enzo ball. He's played under the two different managers today. He was still like 7 in his first 11 or 12 games in the Premier League this season, or 6 or 7 in his first 11. I mean, at his age, to still score, I mean, we forget because it's been a while, right? But he's still got 7 this season, which isn't totally, for a guy his age, is pretty darn good. So you just think he's adapted to whoever the situation, whoever the chairman is, whoever the manager is, doesn't matter what league you're in. I mean, he's played in, I was thinking about this today, he's played in the Premier League, succeeded. League Cup succeeded pretty well. They didn't win it. FA Cup succeeded. Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, international football. I mean, apart from the Club World Cup, I think he's played in every single competition you could play for in a Leicester shirt, including the Community Shield. So, I mean, he's done it all. There won't be anyone else who can do more, short of winning the Champions League.
He played in the World Cup and he played in the Euros.
He scored against Wales, didn't he? When we were 1-0 down, I think. Yes, yeah. You don't mention that, do you, Max?
That was such a horrible moment for me, right? Because I was in the pub.
Is that your favourite Vardy goal?
No, but I was like, obviously, just surrounded by all these Welsh people. I was like, oh, I really want to like.
For those of you who don't know, Locks is a Wales. He's a Welsh fan. He's a Wales supporter.
Oh, that was that was grim. But
yeah, you remember it well.
Yeah,
actually, there's a question for you. Can I ask you that? You have a unique perspective in that you know what it's like to be when a Jamie Vardy goal goes for you. What's it like when he scores against you and gives it to you a little bit? Were you?
No, but this is a thing. It's Jamie Vardy. I don't care. I'm on Jamie Vardy's side. for that one goal against Wales, I'm all for Jamie Vardy. So, and in fact, we actually made it further in the tournament than England that year. Just to say, we made it to the semi-finals. So,
you did.
What did you round of 16? Iceland, wasn't it? I think.
Forgotten.
Yeah, I think it was. Look at this tweet as well. Jordan Blackwell. I hope this musician signs for favourite club thing catches on. I'd rather Serge from Kasabian up front over Jamie Vardy from 2013 when we signed him. There's a lot of tweets like that. Obviously, first £1 million signing, and people are like, "Who the hell's that?"
Why did he work, Lux? Why did he work for us?
Twitch fibers. Somebody's already put a comment up saying today is a fast Twitch funeral.
It must have been Ray. Ray's out there putting that up. But yeah, look, the reason why a non-league player could work in the Championship or the Premier League or the Champions League, because he was so damn rapid, and the ability to control a ball or finish a ball or shoot a ball at that extreme high speed. But the half yard he got in his head, the runs that he makes are in and around defenders. Do you remember that hat-trick he scored? I think he got a first penalty against Kyle Walker, and Kyle Walker just didn't know where he was, and his little short movements in and around the defenders, it's way more than pure speed. But that pure speed element is the one that rips through anybody and everybody. Love the guy.
The only player to score 2 hat-tricks against Pep Guardiola, and he is the only player to play in every round of the FA Cup. Every round.
I mean, these are all-time categories that you just don't see how it can be replicated again. Go down and watch your Sunday League teams this weekend. See if anybody might have the potential to play for Leicester one day. The answer is going to be no. No. This guy.
You never know.
And it wasn't even easy. It's not as if he walked in there and straight away he was like, this guy is amazing. He had to work for it. I mean, he was playing behind Nugent, and who was Nugent's partner? He was playing behind Nugent.
Chris Wood.
Yeah, Chris Wood. So he had to sit and wait in his first Championship season. He didn't get a lot of game time. I think when we first got promoted under Pearson, again, he wasn't starting. I think it was the Man U game where he came off the bench, wasn't it? And that really kind of, I've arrived now, this is who I am. And that iconic, getting, I think it was Raphael, where he won the penalty,
yes.
He got Raphael sent off. But the charge, the finish, the slide, the mohawk, and then you think, right, we're off to the races here. It all began then. I think everybody realised that this boy could actually translate Fleetwood goals into Premier League goals.
The craziest part about that is that was early on in the season, the Man United game. He then didn't score for 4 months. And by the end of the season, he'd made the England squad. I mean, that's ridiculous. He'd only scored I don't know how many goals he scored that season. I swear it was only 5 or 6. But he made the England squad.
You just can't believe it. Again, you can't be thinking that this guy was playing non-league a couple of years ago. How could I possibly pick him for England? I mean, he wasn't even a professional footballer 2 years ago. This is why they're doing a documentary about him, right? This is why movies and books will be spoken about, and about the 5,000 to 1 team as a whole. But, you just can't wait for this documentary to come out, by the way. I wonder if that played 1% of his decision. We get to actually film these last 6, 7, 8 weeks at the club. You're going to see lots of tear-jerking moments where he's saying goodbye to the ladies who've been feeding him for the last 10 years, or people at the club that he's loved, secretaries, all those other little things. And I think we're actually quite fortunate to have a permanent record of these last 5, 6 games with Vardy and interviews with the players. Oh, I hope he gets 2 goals. If you're the opposition, by the way, and it's last game of the season, can we just let them go 5-0 up, and on the premise that they let Vardy score twice if he needs to? Just let him finish off with the 200. Let him finish off with the 200.
This is what we've been saying all day. It's like we had nothing to look forward to in these last few games, but now it is just a celebration of Jamie Vardy. The last few games, that is what everyone will be just hoping for. Get the ball to Vards, almost like in. It's almost like you can imagine a footballer playing FIFA and always just trying to pass to himself. That's what our players should be like. Just get the ball to Vars, no matter what. Get the ball. Win a penalty. Give him a penalty. He'll take that. That's fine.
Goal hanging, diving. We want to see, the anything you can do to win a pen, boys. Get one. Absolutely everything. Bribe the ref. Threaten him on the quiet. Do whatever you have to do. We need 2 goals. That's it. We've got a new goal this season. We thought getting relegated, there's nothing left. We need 2 Jamie Vardy goals before the end of the season. Can we do it? What do you think? We've got some good fixtures.
I think we can do it. Yeah, I think we can. Yeah, Southampton and Ipswich, they're the ones we're looking at, innit? We've got Wolves on the weekend. Who knows? He likes a goal against Wolves. He scored a few. This was interesting as well. He thanked Susan Whelan and obviously Top and Vishai, but he didn't mention Mr. Rodkin.
I noticed that, Scott. He did. He mentioned by name and how lovely she was. So, maybe that's a little message to, us lot.
But he didn't mention Rodkin. He didn't mention Rodkin.
Exactly. We're not just reading the message, you're reading in between the lines, aren't you? He explicitly basically said, get off Susan Whelan's back, and he kind of said, John Rudkin's a free-for-all. But we kind of knew he didn't like John Rudkin, right? Do you remember the speech he gave near the clock tower, where he mentioned John Rudkin's name, and he's like, I knew you were going to boo that, when he was asked about if he was going to stay for one more year after Enzo. So we've kind of known that he wasn't his biggest fan, but to explicitly mention, those kind of names, it's a real shame that they all, probably have to sign some kind of, confidentiality agreement, some NDA or something, that they can't let us know what's happened, because I would love to have a 5-minute conversation with them, say, look, what is happening behind the scenes here? How did we go from this to this? How do we go from that to that? And he would be one of those guys, I'm sure, will have he's seen it all. So what better person is there to compare than him?
I was going to say, yeah, who knows? I mean, Jamie Vardy strikes me as someone who probably would not shit on anyone at the club. But it was interesting. We saw today Peter Schmeichel, who will know a lot because of his son, and he did say, talking about Vardy, every good thing comes to an end. There are a couple of people at that football club that need to take a very, very long look at themselves. So that was a little bit damning from Peter Schmeichel this afternoon. But yeah, there we go. Look, we've had multiple. Dimitri was going to come on, but I think he's jumped off. Unfortunately, we'll get him on Monday night, hopefully on the call-in show. Look, thank you to everybody who's come on and given their comments and their thoughts on Vardy. This will continue, of course. We've got another 3 weeks or whatever it is of the season, and of course, we're going to be talking a lot about Jamie Vardy and talking about the future, because that is, the scouting department are going to need their own department to fucking look for a Jamie Vardy replacement.
Well, I was trying to cheer myself up when I was trying to think of an analogy, but I could only keep coming back to a really bad one that's probably going to get me cancelled, but I'll do it anyway. It's like, you've got a girlfriend and you're punching above your weight. We managed to find this girl. She blossomed into an absolute stunner, and you're like, oh my god, I'm new contract. I want to keep her. She's getting a bit old. Getting a bit old now. So we can look forward. Let's find the next Jamie Vardy, the next superstar. Fast twitch fibers. I've got a few ideas. We'll get to that. But what it does do is exciting in that, maybe it will be Jake Evans next year who becomes this is the beginning of his Leicester City career. At least now we could see that there's an opportunity for somebody else. Whether they take it or not, or whether we pick the right person, entirely different question. But there is a bit of excitement that you're going to see something that you haven't seen before, at least.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we were speaking earlier about, with Vardy gone, it will take less minutes off the youngsters. But on the flip side, you lose that experience and development, mentor in Jamie Vardy, which is a shame. But look, it's all right, mate. The next striker coming into the club will have Patson Daka as a mentor. Think of that.
Mentor or mental? Which one did you say, sorry?
We're going to end it there.